So we're gonna, well, actually I'll tell you a story when we get into hypovolemic shock. So which is the first one. So, I love this picture because there's so much going on here. So, anybody know what this is here? This is CRRT. Anybody know what this is over here? This is ECMO. Some of you are working at Hoag and they're doing ECMO at Hoag, which is very cutting edge. So it's really cool, very cool. Anyway, and then you can see like all of the drips back here and all that kind of stuff. So you guys are taking care of these patients now. It's very exciting. All right, so I don't like these, but I'm going to leave them in because maybe it's your joy. So we're going to talk about hypovolemic shock. Where is the most likely place you're going to see hypovolemic shock? What area of the hospital?
ICU.
ER, that's right. Because they come in and either they're bleeding or they've been throwing up for days or they have a burn and they're losing all their fluids. But you're going to see the hypovolemic shock there as well. So this is a scattered blood gunshot wound. This is a burn patient. This is my least favorite person to be in the ER next to. But it's all fluid loss here as well. So I'm going to tell you, sorry, I'm just going to bore you and tell you my story. We were driving to church. I have already told you I'm one of those people that accidents happen in front of. I already mentioned that? Okay. So my friends at work were always like, oh my gosh, you're the only person that this happens to. And so we were driving to church and I was wearing like nylons and a dress and stuff. And we're on the 710 and we came upon an accident that had just happened and there was a guy in a Roadster. A Roadster's a low open car, kind of looks like a dragster, I don't know. Anyway, big tires in the back, little tires in the front. And as we were pulling up, and the car was on both sides of the freeway, it was in pieces. And this guy had hit the median. And he had, in an open car, he'd been ejected and he had been impaled onto the median. And so as we pulled up, there were two people lifting him off the median because it just happened. They would have had to do it anyway. But usually you don't take sticks out of people's bodies and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so we pulled up and I keep gloves in both my cars, in my purse. I have one-way valves everywhere because I've had to put my mouth on people's mouths before and it is disgusting. Anyway, so this guy was completely alert, but there was so much blood coming from his back. And he's talking to me the whole time. And he's going, I can get up and drive my car, and I was like, I think you just need to lay there. And so I rolled him as much as I could, and I cut his shirt off. I also have scissors, and I was very fortunate that I found the arterial bleeder. because it was, arterial bleeders, if you've seen them, they're pulsatile, right? So I grabbed onto that, and I rolled him back so that his airway would be good, and I could, see him stuff. And we are this far away from each other until the medics get there. And I have to say that I've had nice medics in these situations and ones that just really are like, get out of my way kind of a thing. And these people were very, very nice because when he rolled up, I said, I'm holding a bleeder. And you could see there was like a river of blood, I said, I'm holding the main bleeder, so I need to give that to you, and stuff. And he did. And so anyway, so they took him to Memorial, which is, my hospital. So the next day I happened to be working, so I went over to see him because he told me his name, told me all about his family, and I said, I can get up. Your car is kind of like everywhere, and you're kind of bleeding, so no, just stay down. And so the next day I went to saw him, and he bled down to it was 4 and 17. So he had lost, but they took him right to surgery. He was doing just fine. They replaced his volume and stuff. He had no idea who I was. No idea who I was. And so, which is just very interesting because he seemed with it. But a lot of times these patients are not with it when you're talking to them and they won't remember you as well. But I have to say I had blood all over me. I did not tear my nylons. Crawling around on that ground, I was so proud. I was so proud of those nylons. And my poor husband and my whole family, because I'm very often with my family members. And this is my husband's job on the freeway. And he'll see a wreck and he'll go, no! I'm like, pull over. I don't pull over when anybody else is there. There's emergency vehicles there, they don't need me, they're just fine. But I just happen to be one of those people that things happen right in front of me all the time, and it's just because I've had people collapse standing in front of me that I have caught. I am not kidding you. In the grocery store, I saw a lady going, I had my kids in the car, I saw a lady going down, I caught her, I laid her on the floor, dragged my grocery cart over, I'm like, just stay in it. anyway, lots of things. But hypovolemic shock, these are the main causes of things. So they can be outside or inside. Hypovolemic shock is the easiest thing to treat. You stop the bleeding, you stop the vomiting, you replace their stuff, and they get better. So it's a very easy thing to treat as well. This makes sense. You really don't need to spend a lot of time thinking about this. This is what's going to happen when you lose your blood or you lose your volume. For whatever reason, this is what's going to happen. It's all dehydration. So you don't really need to, you shouldn't have studied this. You should know this. This is the thing that's a little bit weird. So the one thing is that why would I have a high H&H if I have hypovolemic shock? Why?
Because your fluids, your low fluids.
Because what? Okay, go ahead and say that again.
Your fluids are low. So
What fluids are low?
Your blood, plasma.
Plasma, yeah. So that's it, yeah, so that's it. So if you're puking your guts out, you got nothing but blood left, right? But if you're bleeding, then your H&H is gonna be super, super low. So it just depends upon the reason that you have hypovolemia. If it's blood loss, low H&H. If it's not blood loss, very likely high H&H or normal. So it can be both things as well, but all of these things should make sense. Okay, so differential diagnosis, yes, go ahead.
Can you go back?
Yes. This all should just make sense. I mean,
It just didn't print on the slides.
oh, it didn't print? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Can I take a picture of it?
Yeah, sure, of course. I meant for you to have it. It's all pretty common sense, actually, for you guys, especially at this stage. It just makes sense. The reason the BN creatinine ratio is it's greater than 20 is because it's not a kidney issue. You're dehydrated. So the reason that osmolarity is high is because you don't have any urine to pee, right? So sodium is low in the urine because you're holding on to all your sodium to hold on to all the volume. All right. So what you want to make sure is that you don't have something else wrong with you. And so the one thing almost every paramedic in the world does at the very beginning, no matter what's wrong with someone, is they get a blood sugar on someone because it can just pretend to be so many different things. So people who are hypoglycemic can be in so many different cases as well. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on hypovolemic shock because it is just clear. You're bleeding, stop the bleeding, give blood. You're throwing up, stop the throwing up, give volume. So it's very, very common. We usually get bigger access. We do bigger IVs and more IVs for someone who's in hypovolemic shock. Because if you're in hypovolemic shock, you have a really bad blood pressure, you're in real trouble, but it reverses in minutes. You can reverse it in minutes. So yeah, very cool. Okay, so again, pulse pressure. So we want to look for pulse pressure changes to make sure that they're getting better as well. And we've talked about this. Don't use a CVP as a preload measure in the presence of ARDS or pulmonary disease, because again, you get those false highs. So we've already covered that in lecture. And don't assume tissue perfusion is adequate because blood pressure is normal. You need to look at capillary refill, and is their skin warm and dry, and is their coloring good? Are they perfusing to other parts of their body now? Is it getting better? All right. I think cardiogenic shock is just about as easy as hypovolemic shock. Your heart won't pump. That's about it. Okay. The number one reason is having a heart attack. But you have to have more than a 40% muscle mass loss in order to have cardiogenic shock. So if you have less than that, it's probably not going to cause it as well. All of these other things are the infarct. I've seen it several times. Severe dysrhythmias. That's very common, but severe dysrhythmias, you're in them, and then you're either shocked out of them or you die, right? So there's not a lot of wiggle room there as well. End-stage heart failure, yes, that can cause it too. So really, really, really bad. You have an ejection fraction of 10%. You just don't have enough. Capillary muscle rupture, I've seen this. This kills you just about instantly. And then, yeah, so don't worry too much. Most of these things, you either fix them or they kill you. So 9 times out of 10, it's an MI, and then sometimes it is the heart failure. The rest of the stuff's pretty uncommon. Stages, so at the beginning, you're going to be able to compensate for the hypotension. So your blood pressure is falling because your cardiac output is crappy. So your cardiac output is crappy because your heart's not pumping. So at the beginning, you can fix that, but the problem is cardiac output. And the problem with that is that most of the time, if you either have congestive heart failure or you have an MI, you're making your heart work harder. You're making a heart that's sick, that you want to rest, work harder. It's kind of like making someone with a broken arm use their broken arm to lift, 10-pound weights. It's the same idea. You're making the situation worse, but that's how the body compensates. Then when you decompensate, no matter all of the things that your body can do to increase the systemicular vascular resistance, they don't work enough anymore, and then your cardiac output continues to fall, and your blood pressure tanks as well. And irreversible is when you have cellular injury, cellular death, ischemia, injury, infarction, and death. All right, so what do we look